The Straits of Messina, the Mediterranean gateway to the EU. Italian naval officers in pristine white wait for the arrival of a very special delivery. Face mask poised. It's an elaborate welcoming party, and everyone has been given a mask. On land and on board. Almost 800 passengers are being disgorged onto the Italian mainland and thus the EU from this ship alone. They've all been rescued by the Italian Navy from a flotilla of rickety boats crossing from Egypt and Libya, jam-packed with people fleeing war and poverty. A huddle of humanity, a babel of languages. This is the Ellis Island of today. Think of these boats as sort of arcs of misery, whose human cargo reflects the geopolitical crisis that these people are escaping. So, towards the beginning of the year, it was mostly refugees from Syria. Then, after the crisis in Gaza, it was more and more Palestinians from Gaza who arrived here. And ever since Ebola has swept West Africa, we're also getting more and more people from there. And then imagine that the place they're leaving from, Libya, is also in a state of civil war. Most of the families in this tent are Syrians. For them, for her, the journey started more than a year ago. The Sober family are Palestinians, already refugees in Damascus, before the war forced them to flee their refuge and then escape one trouble spot after another. Damascus, problem. Beirut, problem.
Oh.
Egypt, problem. Libya, problem.
Big problem.
Big problem.
Big problem.
To politicians and voters all over Europe, these people are a statistic to be conjured with, to be scared of. But behind every face, there is a very personal story. This is Ahmed from Aleppo.
Good feeling to being saved.
To be safe.
Yeah, and see these people, they're lovely people. We don't need help. We
don't need help?
We don't need help. We just need being blessed to have a justice and save.
And what does your future hold for you?
Maybe I will come to rebuild my country.
You want to rebuild your country?
Yeah, it's the best choice. Thank you.
Good luck. He's off to a camp in northern Italy. Notice how the bus seats have been fitted with bin liners for protection. 8-year-old Abdallah is from Gaza. He won't let go of his father's hand. They spent 23 days on a boat from Egypt, and what they left behind in Gaza was even worse.
This is my son only, or for my baby dead.
Your baby is dead?
Yes, my wife dead.
Your wife is dead as well?
Yes.
How were your wife and your baby killed? By the Israelis?
Israelis, yes. For both, it is difficult, very difficult.
Very difficult?
Very, very, very difficult.
Why?
No food, no water, no medicine. This is very sick.
Amidst all this, a reminder that this human traffic has become a boom business for organized crime and for the foot soldiers who man the boats. Their welcoming committee on land involves an arrest warrant. Even in this misery, there's a class system, and the bottom rung is occupied by the West Africans coming off the boat. Their baggage is the fear of contagion, hence the masks, hence the health checks, ostensibly for TB and scabies, but the more Ebola spreads in West Africa, the more contagion will become an issue. Mostly young men without passports who've been working for a pittance in Libya, they're asked to sit rather than stand for crowd control. The guy in the England shirt is trying to figure out the new rules of his new future.
Just sleeping and eating, finish.
We met 3 Gambians in a Sicilian migrant center, teenagers who left their homes and their families 2 years earlier, consigned to the bottom of the smuggler's boat by the color of their skin.
They put all the black man inside the boat, inside, and the place is too dark, there is no air.
You were at the bottom of the boat?
Yeah, the down. All the Macedonian people are in top. All the black people are in down. You don't have even a good air. They don't give us food.
Do you get to be at the top of the boat if you pay more money, or is it just about color?
No, it's all about color.
No. Did you think you were going to die?
Yeah. I see myself, they rescue me. I thank God. But on that day, it's not my time to die, but it's not easy,
They were rescued, but for at least 3,000 others that we know about, It was their time to die. This has been the busiest and deadliest year for crossings to date. The graveyard for smugglers' boats on a Sicilian beach continues to grow. Politicians from London to Berlin may promise to stem the human tide, but their promises are dwarfed by the unrest of a region and the power of human desperation. Well, let's bring in my guest here on the rooftop in Catania. She's Fabiana Giuliani from the UNHCR. Welcome to the programme. Now, Fabiana, in our report we were talking about the fact that the black African migrants are treated completely differently to Middle Eastern migrants or refugees on these boats by the human traffickers. Is that an experience that you've had as well? Because it's very shocking.
Yes, it is the truth, honestly, because they spend some months in jail, in detention centers in Libya, and on the travel, they don't have life jacket.
They don't have life jackets?
No, usually they don't have life jacket, and sometimes they are on the bottom on the boat, and the travel is very unsafe. So the situation is very bad, and also they are very vulnerable when they arrive in Italy, very sick, weak, and the situation is very bad for them.
So there really is a sort of class system amongst the migrants?
It depends on the money you have, on the money you pay the traffickers to come. And sometimes, as black migrants spend a lot of months in Libya and in detention center.
Why in detention centers?
Because in Libya they are stopped on the road, they stole the passport, and if you don't have passport, you are put in detention centers. This is like a law for migrants, especially for black migrants.
So the situation in Libya is really quite appalling.
Yeah, it's worsening, and this is the reason why really there was a sharp rise on the landings this year. You can imagine that 130,000 people, and the last record was 60,000 in 2011. So really,
that's a huge increase.
Yeah, and most of them are women, children, old people from Eritrea and Syria mainly. So they are potential asylum seekers.
I'm afraid we've got to leave it there. We've run out of time. Fabiana Giuliani from UNHCR, thank you very much indeed. And I spoke to a number of migrants, as you saw in my piece, and I have to say, not one of them that we spoke to was heading to the UK. The vast majority of them, if they're not staying in Italy, are going to Sweden and Germany. Back to you in London.
Matt Fry in Sicily.